Handwavium, the podcast that tries to explain fictional worlds using science. I'm Simon.
And I'm dying. And I'm Jeff.
Jeff is now currently sitting in a 90-degree oven.
Yeah, I don't have AC yet, so I'm just taking, 3 people's heat who all live below me.
So if Jeff starts to sound like I do normally, you know there's something wrong.
Please call an ambulance for me. It will be too late, but I'll appreciate the thought.
It will be 3 days in the future. and that's granted, our very devout listeners who have subscribed to us and get the episode and listen to it as soon as it downloads on their phone.
Mm-hmm.
They'll save you. They'll be able to tell your parents that you're dead.
I think the most impressive part would be you hacking all the login credentials to upload the episode.
That would also be true. I'm just saying, if someone finds Jeff dead,
right,
and somehow if this episode gets uploaded, if I somehow hack the login credentials, you can email me, because by that time I'll have hacked the email account as well that I do not have access to.
I offer to give you an email address. I can do it right now.
I would rather you not, because currently we are recording. Although I guess I would never forget the password, because I would have it recorded.
Right.
I'm actually really happy. The dog, as soon as I started calling you, the dog upstairs started scrabbling. And I was like, oh man, I'm going to have to deal with that all the time. But this is stopped. So Jeff.
Simon.
How tall are you?
I don't know. Tall enough, I guess.
This is Jeff hiding the fact that he's actually kind of short. You're not actually that short. You're about as tall as I
don't think I'm really that short, no.
Yeah, I think you're 5'10", right?
Probably thereabouts.
Yeah, I'm 5'10". So I would bet that you're probably 5'10".
Mm-hmm.
How tall the shortest Teletubby is?
7.5 foot tall.
No, 6.5 feet tall.
I was terrifyingly close. I thought I was going too far the other way for funny.
Oh yeah, like when I was a kid, the Teletubbies were adorable, and I really liked them. This was when I was 3 or 5. This was the show that 5 seems a little old. I probably wasn't 5 when I was 3 or 4.
Mm.
And to put this in perspective, listener, I was an idiot as a 3 or 4-year-old.
He grew out of it, we think.
Well, I mean, looking at my most recent laboratory data for my graduate research, maybe I didn't grow out of it. Yeah, so the shortest one is 6.5 feet tall. The tallest one, what's his name? Pipsy? Dipsy? I should know this.
Sure.
I've been researching them all day. Is it Dipsy? Dipsy's the big old purple one? No, Dipsy's the green one.
Okay.
It's the one that's not Lala. It's Tinky Winky. God. Boy, this...
Eventually you'll make words.
This podcast has really just I was realizing today, I was like, this podcast has probably made me say sentences that I never thought I would ever say in my life.
Yeah, which are now recorded and saved for everyone to take and edit.
Yes. Much like the fact that Tinky Winky is 10 feet tall.
Do the creators know how long a foot was?
I have no clue. There are, you would think, okay, you can accept maybe it's just a costume choice. They're all next to each other, so they all look approximately the same size. You can kind of invent their size.
Mm-hmm.
They have humans on this show. You could see Tinky Winky next to a 6 foot tall person.
Uh-huh.
And you're like, my God, Tinky Winky is enormous. He's massive.
Right.
And the thing that makes it so much more terrifying is their blank expressions. And their soulless eyes. I don't think I've ever been more terrified researching something as I have been by researching the Teletubbies. And I don't mean to be making light about the Teletubbies. I understand that they're a children's show. They are also abominations. They are probably the creepiest things I've ever seen. All right, good. Just saying. Just any amount of just you gotta get away from Uncanny Valley. Blank expressions do not make for good puppets or costumes.
I mean, apparently you were into it when it was.
Apparently,
yeah.
I thought that they were like mouse people or something like that.
Nope, giant monstrosities.
Well, what it is that they had like a revamping. I think this is what it is. They had a revamping of the show.
Okay.
Where they redesigned the faces and stuff.
To be more terrifying.
Yes, because like in the first one they were like kind of like half lidded, and I was watching it on a CRT with like an antenna, so like not good quality.
Right.
Now they have it like LCD through cable, and it's too defined. Your brain can't make up things to fill in the blurry images.
It just knows how terrifying it is.
It just yes. Now their blank expressions see into my soul. They're hell mouths of faces.
That's probably fine, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that this is why it's just... I don't know, man.
You sound scarred. Is that just because the research you've been doing?
Yeah, it is. Like, I can't get... I would be fine. But the background picture for this fan wiki is Tinky Winky staring at me. It's unbearable. Anyway, I just need to put a little screen, a little blocker on that part of my screen. Here, I'll take Jeff.
I mean, well, if it's the same fan wiki that I'm looking at, there are two other fellows poking on the other side of the screen.
It is definitely not, because I have the little bunny rabbit and some flowers. And a periscope microphone thing.
You might need a wider screen then.
It's probably true. I don't have great resolution on the screen. Anyway, so we're talking about the Teletubbies, everybody. After that long...
meandering rant? You're used to that by now.
That meandering diatribe about how terrible Tinky Winky is. He's like, what are they doing inventing horrible monsters like the Cofield monster, like Godzilla or Mothra, when they're like, oh, here's a anthropomorphized mouse creature he's only 10 feet tall, but he has soulless eyes. Tall. I mean, like, Mothra's got to be like, I don't know, 150 feet long.
Yeah, probably bigger than 10 feet at least.
Yeah, because like a 10-foot long moth, that's nothing. That's a baby moth. Anyway, we should do Mothra for one of these. That'd be fun.
Yeah, there's a whole list of things that we can go off of that. Why does this list the inside and outside skin color, Simon?
That's what I was gonna bring up. It makes no sense. Why they I realized that that inside to them are the things that are encapsulated in the outside color. So it's not their insides like we would think about it. It's the things that are not covered in fur.
Okay. Yeah, so for any frame of reference listener going through the fan wiki, it just, lists the essentials: gender, height, eyes, skin, which says red outside, white inside. Is there a real dark episode that I just didn't know about?
Where they're just ripping open Teletubbies and look at what color their insides are.
Right.
It's peach. Trying to teach children about colors. This is a liver. This is what liver looks like. It's the color peach.
Terrifying.
Yeah. 3-year-old Simon's like, that's the color peach. I can't spell it.
That's probably not important. I watched someone be mutilated today.
Hey, Mommy and Daddy, I watched someone get mutilated on the television today.
That's why you never had TV. That makes way more sense.
That's why I was forced to watch Teletubbies on a CRT with an antenna. For those who don't know,
let's unpack
I'm
this
getting
more.
ahead of myself. Yeah. The Teletubbies children's show that I remember airing back in the 90s and early 2000s. It's about four creatures.
Monsters.
Named Tinky Winky, Dipsy, Lala, and Po. They all are different colors. And it's just about their lives in Teletubby Land, which is just a land that they live in. That kind of reminds me of the Shire for some reason. Like, it's big green fields. Yeah, and they all live in, like, hobbit holes.
Yeah, that probably is why it reminds you of the Shire. The hobbit holes.
Yeah, it's the hobbit holes. Actually, it's really close to the hobbit holes that they have in the movies. I wonder if they reused the set of the Teletubby Land.
That's probably it.
It's probably it, yeah.
It's real good location scouting, you know?
Yeah, so it's just about them. It goes to, like, a day in the life of a Teletubby. And the thing is that their stomachs are televisions that they would pick up signals. This is back in the days of antennas, so it made sense to us as a kid. If you're younger than me and Jeff, TV used to be like radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's... You used to have antennas, you used to pick up signals. You probably can still pick up signals.
You can.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just they're digital signals, not analog anymore.
Oh, okay, that's what it is. Oh, that's why, because you need, like, the converter now that goes from digital into your analog set. Yeah. They have antennas on their heads. They pick up different signals. They have different shaped antennas. And then whenever they do, all the Teletubbies will gather around and look at their stomachs and watch whatever appears on the thing. And normally it's like a heartwarming story about, like, I don't know, a little girl who has toys or something like that. I don't really remember. You
listen,
guys.
It out, huh?
I don't know if I did. I think it was 13 years ago that I was 13. That's not how old I am. How old am I?
Just saying, it might have been more than 13 years ago, my guy.
However long ago, it was a long time ago. I don't remember that much. Jeff, I've grown as a human being since I was 3.
Did not learn how to do maths, though.
Well, no. It makes it very difficult to be an engineer.
Well, that's what you have computers for.
Exactly. Yeah, never believe that an engineer is good at math. We just have computers. Every engineer I know has, on a regular basis, typed 2 + 2 into their calculator to make sure it does in fact equal 4. Happens all the time. And I still get my math wrong. Anyway, so here's the question. And I don't know if we really want to get into it, but what are the Teletubbies?
I think I'm going to stick with monsters. Original answer.
You're going to go with monsters. So, the thing I want to know is this Earth? Or do you think that they live on Earth?
I definitely don't think they're on Earth. Isn't the sun a baby?
So, well, don't...
Am I getting ahead of you?
No, you are getting ahead of me, but among the things that I never thought I'd hear in my lifetime was, isn't the sun a baby? Yeah, so the sun is a baby. So we're assuming that this is a different, but I don't know, like, so it could be Earth. It could be that they live in like a Truman Show style world where the firmament is just artificial and that the baby sun is just the image that they've created to make the sun.
Okay. Well, they get signals with their head antenna, right?
So maybe the firmament isn't made out of metal. They're not in a Faraday cage, man.
So, well, no, that's why I'm thinking they're just on a different planet and they're getting stray signals from Earth, which is why you have people on their stomach television.
Here is the so oh my god, so you're saying that in one of these times they have Hitler at the 1934 Olympics.
Yeah. And
all the Teletubbies gather and watch.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
I guess you're right. I mean, would our light waves even hit the most close, what are the words, nearest planets by that time? Because they're getting like 90s home videos.
How far out they are.
Oh, so you're saying maybe they're not even, but we know the the closest of like galaxies and stuff. Oh, is he saying that they're in our own galaxy?
They might be.
So you're saying that they're just very close. Do you think they're in our solar system?
Probably not in the solar system. Their planet looks very green.
Oh, that's what. Okay, that's why you were going with that. I thought you were gonna say because our sun isn't a baby.
Oh. Also because our sun isn't a baby. I forgot that part.
Well, okay. So I guess we should back up. Do we believe the sun is actually a baby? I guess we should talk about what Teletubby Land is to get what the Teletubbies are.
Okay.
So you're going other planet. I would agree with that. I think other planet is good.
It's a good starting point to try to figure out what they are.
Yes. But I'm also thinking, like, you know the man in the moon? Do you know where that myth came from?
People are bad at looking things? At looking things? At looking at things, and their brain just kind of made a face on it.
That's pretty much it. Like, our human brains are really good at seeing faces, because that's what we're designed to see. That's what we're designed to recognize other people. That's why all humans look pretty much identical, but we can tell them apart.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the Teletubbies, that's what they're seeing when they look at the sun. That's what I think. I think that maybe their son isn't a baby. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
And I'm saying maybe they're just seeing the face of a baby.
Because they've looked at their son for too long.
Yeah, exactly. Because they got those soulless night eyes.
Right.
I mean, but like seriously, so I would think that that'd be true, right?
I mean, I can start to accept that, yeah.
However, look at the size of their pupils. These are clearly creatures of the night.
These are clearly vampires.
They have massive pupils, and they have very dark... But they have dark...
I mean, they might have, like, massive pupils, but they might just be bad at
seeing.
Like
it's
processing. Like, they might just need that much... like light to come in to make any picture.
Or maybe they see very clearly. It's all about opening that iris to collect all that light. They have very robust retinas. And that's what allows them to look at the sun as if it was our moon.
For extended time periods.
I like that idea because what's the white stuff in the eye called? The gooey stuff around the stuff? It's the pupil and then the iris. So
and then the part that no one remembers.
And then it's the gooey eye stuff. That part of their eyes is black, which would imply that maybe it's used to absorb excess light.
Mm-hmm.
Like having like black, like Canadians, the tribes that live in northern Canada would put like black paint underneath their eyes to protect their eyes from sun glare.
Okay,
that's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That is a. I mean, does it ever struck you that this is an insane podcast?
I think it's a normal podcast, actually.
Okay, good. I don't know any other podcast that would come up with an actual legitimate scientific reason for why the Teletubbies have black and then gold and then enormous pupils.
Right.
So we have it. These like hawk-eyed monsters. They don't live. The sun is not actually a baby. So so where do we think they live? Do we think they live in our solar system, or do we think they live in someplace?
Well, I'm still gonna think not our solar system because
we would see a meadow.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, I agree.
But I think further out than that, like, it is much harder to, find planets, let alone see what's on all of them.
Okay, I like the idea that they live on a different planet and they're just picking up our radio signals.
Mm-hmm.
So the humans that appear on Teletubbies, what do you think they are then? Because
you did say that humans appear on Teletubbies, didn't you?
I did say, but I don't think they're real humans. I mean, if they're picking up human signals, they probably know what humans look like. So maybe they're like...
Oh, you think they're, like, thought projecting a human.
That was no. But, you know what? I've rejected enough of your ideas.
Oh, no, that's not my idea. I was wording it to try to put words in your mouth. That
was your idea of what my idea was. I was going to say maybe they just because there's clearly only like 4 people who live on this world, maybe they create like automata in the shape of aliens.
Okay.
To like serve as their friend.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I think it's like an art thing for them, like creative endeavors to create alien automata.
Right. Because what else are they doing with their day, right?
Exactly. They have everything they don't seem to eat, so yeah, what do they subsist off of? Because they don't seem to eat. Or they do eat pie.
Okay, well, asked and answered. They subsist off of pie.
I just spent too much time on this wiki. Yeah, so they eat. They probably have like fruits and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. Killed that tab accidentally. Gotta bring that back. Yeah, gotta get that baby son tab open.
Oh, good.
Really happy. I don't know where I was going with that. So we have the Teletubbies. We know what the Teletubbies are. We know where they are. How about they have... what do we think their stomachs are? Like, do we think they're actual... Like, why do they project television on their stomachs?
Right. Yeah, that... I'm trying to come up with any kind of biological reason that they might have evolved televisions.
But also, why do they have antenna? So I have an idea.
Well, is that... No, it did say earlier in the thing that this is their skin and not a suit that they're wearing.
Yes. I don't know why this is the subject that is so delightful to me, but for some reason, My Little Pony was fun to do. This, for some reason, is absolutely bananas. Yes, that is their skin. Is the colored stuff their skin?
It says their skin is one color on the outside, which I guess lines up with that main color, and then a different color on the inside, which is like their face and ears, I guess.
I thought you were going to say their skin was the colored part, and then the non-colored part is not their skin. Was their insides.
No, so I guess then the TV screen part is not actually their skin.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like a bioluminescent kind of thing.
Okay.
So disregard why they would need to do this. But as a... let me finish.
No, continue.
as like a communication method, maybe that's why they have the big screens on them, is to communicate like emotions or feelings and things like that. And the reason I say that is maybe because most things that can send signals can also receive signals. Mm-hmm. In a very general sense. Obviously, the internal workings need to be a little bit different to filter out a lot of stuff or to send the right signal. Mm-hmm. But maybe they were once part of like a larger civilization that instead of communicating through sound, communicated through light, like communicated through radio waves.
Okay. And these are just like they became isolated in their little meadow, I guess, and over however many years,
oh my god,
they like started talking to each other.
Well, they started to mimic human interaction because they started to receive the socialness of the humanity. And I was going to say maybe they're not isolated. I was originally going to say that maybe their entire race died from a massive pandemic. That seems a little close to home. But maybe they're just isolated. I mean, it doesn't look like they're particularly functional creatures, so I doubt that they would be able to survive.
Well, there are apparently baby Teletubbies called Tiddlytubbies.
Yep, and they all have different names. One of them, I think, is named, like, Ning Ning or something.
Well, one of these is in purple text and impossible to read on a white background. Or in What did I say? Yellow? It is yellow text.
You said purple text.
Okay, I was looking at Tinky Winky next to the text I was trying to read, and they are very purple.
It's fine. Jeff, we're both very tired. Having worked all day, you...
Having worked all day with heat stroke.
You being in the middle of a sauna. In my mind, you're just like naked, sitting in front of your snowball, speaking into it.
That is most of my life. I usually put on pants when I talk to people online because it's weird otherwise.
Well, that's good. Pants or underwear?
Well, shorts.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So if I were there, I'd get to see your pasty white hairy legs.
Yes, very much.
Good. That's what I like to know. And the listeners like to know that about you too, Jeff.
Yeah, well, now they have to.
They want to know those personal details. So we had this communication method. I'm really liking this. Is that they have this kind of, this is the way that they communicate. They communicate with electromagnetic waves, and this allows them to communicate all the way across their planet as well. So it interacts with all of the species, not just individuals of the species.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's one of the reasons why they have those television sets, is to, when someone receives a signal of a certain type, of like a certain frequency, they can relay it to the rest of their tribe.
Okay.
And that's why they have the different shapes of antenna, is to receive different types of frequencies. No, just different frequencies. There's one type of frequency. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no. I was going to suggest the different antenna shapes thing, but I realized I stopped listening and didn't know if you said that already. So
no.
We're going to the same place.
Jeff, this is really good podcasting, where you just admit that really I'm the one podcasting and that you're just a voice in the background.
Right. Well, I mean, you need a sounding board to bounce ideas off of. It would just be you ranting alone into a microphone otherwise.
Exactly. Maybe we should release our first podcast that we have never talked about on this podcast, which is pretty much 2 hours. Which is you
lecturing for like 2 hours.
It's just me lecturing you. Oh, it was not a good podcast.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jeff. Now we have so much of a better podcast. I shut up all the time.
Yeah, now we have a podcast where you shoot down my ideas and I stop listening.
I don't think I have ever shot down your ideas. I think I build upon them.
I think generally, yeah.
So do we think, so there is a vacuum cleaner called Nunu.
I'm sorry, I'm just not familiar with the mythos at all, and everything you add to it is just mind-boggling.
Listen, they live in a weird, futuristic hobbit hole.
Uh-huh.
There's it's not anthropomorphic, it has eyes and a mouth. And it's a vacuum cleaner, and its name is Nunu, and it just sucks things up, and sometimes the Teletubbies don't like it that it's been sucking things up, and they yell at it. It's like a dog to them. Why do you think they have a seemingly
sentient vacuum cleaner?
Vacuum cleaner. Yes.
Well, do you think it's just kind of the same idea behind the, human automata that they make?
They were just like, everything needs to have eyes.
Yeah, right?
I guess. So you're saying that they're lonely. So before they were getting human transmissions, they were like,
they were getting vacuum transmissions.
Eyes? I love this. They were getting vacuum. I love this idea because there's an episode of the Teletubbies where Lala makes a pie and she puts a face on it. So I think you're right. I think that they just put faces on everything because they are so deprived of social interaction.
Right, beyond just the four of them.
They need to put faces. And being deprived of social interaction has nothing to do with our current state in the world.
Right.
Gotcha. So I'm down with this. I'm so down with this. One thing we haven't answered.
It's just the one thing, huh?
There's a couple of things, but one thing. The talking flowers.
Okay. There's also talking flowers.
Yes. They're just talking flowers, dude. They're flowers, and they talk.
Okay, well, I didn't know if they also had mouths and eyes. No, they are just flowers that do talk.
They are just flowers that make, yeah. And they talk English.
Oh, yeah, that was going to be the next question. Is it, like, are they just making mouth noises, or is it discernible as a language?
Nope, they make, not only is it discernible as a language, they actually say things. Like, a spider, and it's only a toy, and, oh, stop at one, oh, she needs lessons, and how delightful, and how can she see where she's going, and going much too fast, things like that, you know.
So, are these just things that they shout, or is that in response to something happening around them?
I believe that they were responding to things going on around them.
Okay, so they're somehow sentient and can see what is going on, despite not obviously having eyes.
Or sense, as someone who is currently rewatching all of Avatar, maybe this is like an earthbending kind of sense of tremors, like a tremor sense kind of thing.
Okay, I can see that. So they have, like, just roots that go out right beneath the surface of the ground or something. So they just feel everything walking past.
Yeah, they feel tremors.
Okay. So I like that explanation for how they're able to sense things.
And maybe... Okay, I'll let you talk.
No. You were saying and maybe. I was just going to continue talking in circles until an idea came.
Well, my idea is that, I mean, we're thinking of it like they're tuning forks, right? Like they are essentially, they're receiving vibrations through their roots, and then they're magnifying the vibrations so that they can kind of pick up what's going on around them. Like the stalks are magnifying those vibrations so that they know what's going on. So they clearly can generate vibrations. So maybe they're not speaking; they're just generating vibrations, and that is
just in response to. Okay.
Yeah,
and it just is long shot coincidence that it happens to be the same noises as English.
Well, I was gonna say that maybe they're like crows in Alaska or parakeets, where they mimic the sounds they hear. Seeing as though, and maybe this is like a mating thing, like the most attuned flowers, the flowers that have the best chance of surviving because they know what's going on around them, can also generate
the prettiest human voices.
Yeah, they can generate the most distinct noises. So when they hear the noises coming from them, from the Teletubbies' stomachs, they reproduce those noises.
To draw the Teletubbies in so that they can use them to pollinate the other flowers. I like it.
Or that. I don't know how that part works, but sure. I think well, I mean, it's giving them like an amount of fitness if they can make and reproduce more accurate noises to get their attention. Right? Yeah. I think that makes total sense. In fact, I've decided that this is what my graduate thesis is going to be on.
Well, I'm sorry you've wasted your money.
Me too. So apparently the Teletubbies like to exercise. That is just something that I like to say. However,
what, they just run 10 foot tall through the fields?
Oh, well, no, they stretch.
Okay.
They're all about calisthenics. Because you gotta remember, they've been receiving a lot of 1930s through 1940s television. Right. So they're really used to those Nazi propaganda films where all those little blonde-haired children are stretching to get ready to be Nazi youths. And that's why they're stretching.
Okay.
Listen.
I won't make the connection that they're just also Nazi youths.
They're not Nazi youths because they're also getting the American ones. So they're also getting whatever American broadcast television was like at that time.
Okay.
I don't know what that was.
I don't remember.
Which kind of is shocking to me because it's weird that I know more about Nazi television than American television.
Well, American television is probably more mundane.
Yeah, it was like, when did I Love Lucy come out? Like the 50s? 1951. So that's probably what they're getting. They probably have like some good yuckums and...
Right.
Yeah. They probably got a very good sense of humor.
Real into stretching and slapstick.
And slapstick, of course. But they're feminists, is the crazy thing.
Okay,
anyway.
Well, stretching and slapstick isn't exclusive to feminism. But I don't know. Yeah, no. There's probably some feminist broadcast then, right? It wasn't entirely patriarchal still.
I don't think it is. I think I Love Lucy is, maybe not innately feminism, but it is a female main character in a 1950s show.
Right.
Which is at least big. And she's not, like, in love, like, just trying to get with a man. She's, like, kind of funny and has other things other than being a woman. What I'm saying is that she's not the early Mortal Kombat characters whose female personalities were female.
Yeah.
Which I think is a big thing for the 1950s. Sue me. So the thing I would like to say is there's things called voice trumpets.
Are these the Periscope fellows?
Those are the Periscope fellows.
Hey, guessed one good.
They have both male and female voices. They rise out of the ground and entertain the Teletubbies, making animal sounds, singing nursery rhymes, and give the instructions.
Okay.
They tell the Teletubbies to rise and shine. Now, I know we were just trying to pull away from the whole Nazi thing.
But let's take a second pass at that.
Yeah, feels a little not to you.
Well, they're definitely artificial, because they are clearly made out of metal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it might just be some, like, automation that survived.
So I am definitely seeing the Teletubby world as post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, I think it's getting more and more towards post-apocalyptic the closer and closer we get to Nazi Germany.
Exactly. Like, this is what happens when Nazis are allowed to have a voice.
The apocalypse.
The apocalypse. I don't think we should have any more of our political views on this show.
Does Nazis bad count as a political view?
You know, Jeff, apparently in today's days, yes.
All right, well,
calling Nazis silly. I agree. Calling them anything worse than maybe not good is a political stance nowadays.
I still think that's silly.
I agree. This got deep, man. Also, we did release an entire episode where we just make fun of Donald Trump. So,
did we? Was it just one episode? Oh yeah, no, the Trump tweets episode.
just like I have no recollection. Have we done any episodes ever? This is a deep dive in the fact that Jeff's been blackout drunk this entire time.
Right.
This has no idea what's going on. You know, that's all I had, folks. See that space, that blank space, that's what keeps us in that copyright butter zone where we're allowed to reference things. Wait, that's not what the line is it?
What are you talking about?
The line is that's all, folks. There you go. That space, that's what keeps us in the copyright butter zone.
Okay, or we can go back and comment on the phrase and about how good
how
and succinct that
something.
it was.
Yeah.
And then it becomes commentary, and now we're safe and clear from copyright issues.
I am really glad that you also, I don't know if you did, but did you also watch that thing on
the Tom Scott video?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Good.
Well, I'm glad we're both huge nerds and watch math videos on the internet.
Well, I mean, dude, we have a podcast where we try and explain the scientific. So I would like to say, what are the ramifications of these? Do we think that they have organic antennae? I guess is the thing I would like to bring up.
I think it would have to be, though, right?
So what do we think there? Do we think that they have like a metal core? Or do we think that they... Like, how do we think that they... Do you think that they have like nerve cells that are going through their antenna? And that's...
Pick it up? Yeah, like, I think it would be nerve cells going through the antenna that communicate down to their stomach televisions, I guess, because it interfaces somehow.
Well, here's the question: is their stomach television? Is it an LCD? Is it an LED television? Is it a CRT? You know, do they got?
Well, it's definitely not a CRT.
Oh, really?
But no, going back to like they could have just had technology to, I guess, splice into their nervous system to communicate those thoughts, because it was the different antenna could pick up different frequency was the idea, and then
yes,
they're broadcasting to other different antennaed Teletubbies like that frequency with the television.
But what I'm saying is, what do you think the television is made of?
Back to that, definitely not CRT, unless they scooped out half of their insides. Oh, but they're also 10 foot tall, so maybe they can get away with it.
like CRT, not out of the question. I think what makes the CRT the least likely is that it requires them to have an electron gun, which I'm having the most difficulty believing could form organically throughout.
Well, and I don't think that part is necessarily organic. I think that is technology that they ended up making to be able to communicate with different, like, antennaed Teletubbies.
So you're saying, and I like this idea, is that the post-apocalyptic Teletubbies is also a post-singularity world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where they have come bound. So I would agree with that, except for I believe the baby Teletubbies also have televisions in their stomachs.
Oh, they're like prosthetics. They swap them out with bigger ones as they grow up. Probably not CRTs, though.
Yeah.
If they do fit inside the baby bodies.
I mean, I guess, what's like the... Could you,
mm-hmm.
Jeff, generate like a bioluminescent coil that was like a red, a green, and a blue.
Mm-hmm.
To mimic all the colors like a television does.
I think that would be a stretch.
Okay.
I mean, I guess it's not out of the question for whatever planet they live on, but
But you're saying you would rather go with post-singularity world.
Everyone gets a free TV that lives inside their stomach.
Everyone gets a free stomach TV. That should be the tagline for this episode: is everyone gets a free stomach TV. Okay.
I thought you want to get away from politics on this one.
There we go. Yeah, it's the communism of television stomachs. Freaking this is what you get. This is what you get when you get socialized medicine. Everyone wants elective surgeries that are now free, and everyone gets a stomach in their television.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a television in their stomach.
It's the natural progression.
It's the natural progression. It's socialized medicine, communism, everyone has a stomach television. So I just don't like the prosthetic idea.
Okay.
Here's why.
Because it's post-apocalyptic, and how are they making more?
Exactly. And not only how are they making more, but like I'm assuming these are not doctors, Teletubby doctors. But I would be fine if we could come up with a way that like the prosthetics would grow. It was like organic prosthetics.
Well, even if they're they have to have like a decent amount of intelligence to be able to make all the automata, though.
At one point in time. So I think, and I know this is kind of
I see.
My perception of the world. I think that these were very young Teletubbies when the apocalypse occurred. Okay. And now they have grown to be adult Teletubbies, and there are maybe hatchling Teletubbies behind them. Those are now the baby Teletubbies. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming Teletubbies reach adolescence fairly quickly. How do their bellies still fit their original prosthetics? How have they not had to have maintenance on it? Things like that. And I'm gonna offer, because I'm a positive person, man. I offer problems and then I offer solutions. Okay. So let's see what solution we're building upon. What about like an organic prosthetic, a prosthetic that isn't just, it's physically altering the nature of the body so that the body is fused and grows with the stomach television. So it would then be like its own organic television to be able to get like materials to make the television bigger as it grows. Yes. Huh. Okay. And like the television contains cells. Mm-hmm. The cells that do the kind of the different colors and lights. Because we actually, so there's no evidence that this is a glowing television. So we don't know if this television would work in the dark. It could just be that the cells just change color like a chameleon cells. Mm-hmm. And that is what they have generated. Okay. I can buy that like from that angle rather than it is just an actual television. Yes, I think so too. Well, here's a question. Do you think that they're having difficulty with the analog to digital changeover conversion in recent years? So now everything just has gone dark to them and they just have like the old automata to deal with? Yeah. My God. What a horrible world. A second apocalypse to them. That's awful. Yeah. There's only 4 of their kind. So plus all the babies. Here's a question that occurred to me. Uh-huh. If this is a different planet, why are there bunnies? And what I'm getting at is panspermia. Yeah, there you go. Jeff, I activate my trap card. Yep, no, I fell into the panspermia trap. Or do we think that they are also automata that they have just created to look like bunny? I think if they made like human automata, I would buy bunny automata also. And they were like, this is the creature we want to make. We don't want to make a dog, the far superior pet creature. We want to make bunnies. Yes, that will sit there and just kind of wiggle their nose at them. I'm fine with this. Yeah. We have generated a horrifying creation. No, we did nothing. The Teletubbies existed, and that was a horrifying creation. We just PBS participated in their fiction. We participated in the creation of a horrible monster. Well, wouldn't be the first time. It wouldn't be. Anyway, we're running an hour now of this rambling. Sorry, this was a little bit of a just disjointed episode. Half of us are dying. Yeah, and Jeff is living in a sauna right now. Living, not being. It's non-voluntary. This is fine. Thanks for listening to our podcast. Thanks to Joe Sopchak for our theme music. You can like and subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, other podcasting apps. You can leave us a comment. what's the other things you can do? You can leave us show suggestions.
Yeah, go to the website, pedantichandwavium.com. Show suggestions. We like them.
We're on Twitter at phandwavium.
Or maybe on YouTube, depending on how much Simon remembers that through all the editing.
We are on YouTube, at least some of our episodes. It takes a long time to make videos.
Yeah, I bet.
Is there anything else we have to do? Sometime our D&D episode will come out. Once Simon gets done with the editing.
We are editing it currently as we speak. I hear Simon clicking through Audacity. Yeah, I'll take credit. That's fine. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
We did it. We nailed another one. Good night, everybody. We love you.